Welcome to the channel. Here I am again, and if you somehow watching me regularly, which I severely doubt, you might think that I was slacking. Well, yeah, of course I was. But still, this game was a long one, and I mean Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, of course. Both because summer's here, I don't want to playing video games to that extent. And there's a lot of content in this game. There is a lot to do. So, Metal Gear Solid 5. I feel at the moment very late to the party, even though I have played and, as I have found out right now, completed basically 85% of the game 9 years ago. 9 years ago, I have almost completed the game, but I was so tired of it, so I just thought, well, there are a lot of chores to do. I will get back to it when I will be ready to play it again. And I never did. I never did. Then my hard drive on PC had broken, and I had bought myself a new copy on Steam, which of course had to be the save file started new, and there is a very long prologue in the game. And at the time, I felt slightly irritated, let's say. So I thought maybe I will complete the game somewhere in the future. Well, right now I have did. I did exactly that, and whoa, what a game! I have really enjoyed myself. Um, what you gotta understand about this game that it is a direct sequel to the previous game in the series. I'm talking, of course, about Metal Gear Solid 4. Nah, just kidding. I'm talking about the PSP game, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. And I'm sure that because of a difference of platforms, many people have not played it. But I have, and I haven't completed it, of course. But I know that there was a lot of passion put into it by Kojima. Basically, it is one of the Metal Gear games that are. It is one of the only not numbered Metal Gear games that are not a spin off. They are important to the story as a whole, even though relatively speaking. So of course you can play Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4, and you won't lose much in terms of understanding what's going on. But Peace Walker expands the universe really nicely, and Kojima understand it so he pitched the next game in a series, Metal Gear Solid 5, as an extension of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker ideas and story. And it is a whole another can of worms, so to speak. It is terrible for newcomers. I think the game Kojima always did that, and many Japanese developers, when they make story-driven games, they flood you with different names, some kind of vague concepts that have, you know, weird meanings just to be weird. And they either you go an Atlas and Persona route when you talk with the player as if he were a child, like, come on, these monsters they called humans, don't you forget. These sentient guys, they don't call humans, these guys are called humans, like it was a metaphor. Or you go the Kojima route, where if you play the game without putting much thought into it, um, in the middle of the game you might find yourself completely overwhelmed and not understanding what the fuck is going on at all. So yeah, sadly, it is difficult for me to recommend this game as a starting point in the series. It is very much a closing chapter on the whole series, in for many reasons. But the fans of the series who have played other games for a number of years, they applaud this game dearly and they love it, and they're right. This game deserves love, and let's talk about it more. Um, there are several concepts which regard this game and made it both the phenomenon and the problem that it is. One of main things that you can notice when you play the game, like for the first 2 to 3 hours, and completion of the game took me about 50. That it has ads. It has ads, ads of sunglasses, motorbikes, Sony Walkmans. So yeah, this thing was made, but thankfully it wasn't too forced. It was annoying slightly, but it wasn't forced, and it's not overbearing. It kind of takes some of the time to establish itself, and then the story just goes on. So thankfully, it's not staying. But still, there is another um, side to this coin. There is plenty of licensed music in this game. A lot of 80s pop music, and we know that these things are costly. And on one hand, on one hand, Kojima can realize his vision in a way that he sees fit. On the other hand, it is very, very costly. And what is, when these hands collide, what ends up? Well, at least we know that Kojima has a good taste in music, that's for sure. So yeah, this game ended up being problematic in both these instances, and I think it ended up it paved the road to the conclusion that we got. How the game looks. In terms of graphics, it is a decent 2015 game. In terms of design, it is a very solid game. I think it still gives a lot. Um, there are many games that are not even close in the same kind of genre, I would say, in the same kind of direction that couldn't accomplish what Metal Gear Solid 5 has accomplished. So that's it. The gameplay. This is the saving grace of the whole game. The thing is about the Metal Gear Solid series that half of the game is basically cutscenes. Cutscenes, dialogues, and everything else in the middle. But here, most of the dialogues they go to the pre-recorded cassette tapes, which you can listen to anytime when you are out and about in the free roaming areas. So it's not mandatory, and it is basically a sandbox game. You are given a couple of wide areas. One is in Afghanistan and one in the Central Africa. And both of these areas are chock full of enemy combatants, some interesting locations, forts, tanks, helicopters, and everything else. You're basically playing as a solitary veteran, something like a Rambo, basically, or something of that kind. The ultimate soldier, one fighting machine, the one man who has a lot of experience, and in case of this game, he has a lot of tools to approach the enemy. And of course, you're not entirely alone. You got your helicopter, and most of the time, you have your buddy. And I will not go too deep into that, but that's the idea. The idea is to give you a war zone where you can explore, um, do missions, be it main missions or side missions, and everything in between freely. And that is very good. I really enjoyed that. Of course, it is a staple stealth game, and this may be this is most likely the best stealth game that I have ever played, both in terms of depth of stealth and in terms of casual approach to it, because stealth games, they require you to play on their own tempo. This game both gives you freedom to screw with the stealth entirely, not always, but sometimes, most of the times, I would think, you're given choice, and and it gives you a lot of tools. It has its own tempo in terms of when you master the system, both stealth and all that surrounds it becomes very streamlined and fun. This game is fun, and many games, especially that's made in a style of Kojima, and I mean that the games as an art form. And yes, we're mentioning that they can kind of feel like shit in that regard, but here it is good. And I don't know if Kojima was the one who introduced and polished all the gameplay mechanics so it would be that fun, or it would be his trusted colleagues and staff members. But I applaud his studio. They have made a magnificent job, even though it ended up the way it is. So, now the sound design. It has always been a very big thing in the series, the sound design, both the OST and sounds themselves. Sound of Triggered Alarm is classic, and it is beautiful. This game has one of the best sound designs I have ever heard. It is polished, and it is definitely inspired. I basically, if we're talking about the usual sound design, it is great. If we're talking about the licensed music, it is great. But if we're talking about the music that was specifically made for the game, it is actually pretty good also, even though it is not used to the much of the extent that that OST deserves. And Quiet's theme, oh my god, right in the feels, especially you know in the latter part of the game, let's say. So now we're coming to the meat of the game, right? The story and the themes of the game. As I have mentioned before, Kojima is always he was regarded as an artistic genius for a while now, and Kojima genius was a sentiment that was like a meme. It was a very popular meme in the community, in the gaming community for a while now. And I usually am quite skeptical about these kinds of statements, but this time it really made me thinking: is he a genius or is he not? Well, the best conclusion that I have come up to is that this game is a result of his artistic career, actually. Yeah. Uh, very early in his career, he started to view making of the video games as an artistic kinds of expression, like style over substance, and then he gives enough substance so that style doesn't feel flat. So I would say he's definitely an artist. He is one of the first people in the industry who had decided to look at games as an art form first and the game second. But in case of Kojima, he and his studio were not lazy in terms of gameplay. They have always delivered. So I could say that this game is a good artist, at least good. Now we're getting into the deeper territory, right? He had made, let's say, around 10, maybe more Metal Gear games, and the Police Notes and some other games or whatnot. And Metal Gear Solid 5, made in 2015. It was a result of his 30-year-old career. And he decided to go all in. He decided to, like, all gas, no brakes. His budget, as I understand, rose exponentially. As I mentioned, these licensed music and stuff. His ambition grew very bold. He decided to make an epic story with new and dynamic characters, and he wanted to give a series a bang, like to eclipse everything that he had done before. Well, sadly to say, his ambition was not fulfilled, and it wasn't entirely because of him. Let's take it one step at a time. Well, the main themes of the game are revenge and the phantom pain. And they are interconnected, of course, because as it always stands in the classic media, revenge often leaves you feeling empty after you're done with it. And here it is also the case, but not only. The thing is that most of the characters in the games they are deeply wounded people. They have been taken. For most of them, something been taken which would never be back. For the main character, it is his entire existence, basically. For Kazuhiro Miller, it's his ambition and his optimism, I would say. It is gone. There is nothing about it. Even though he has his comedic moments like making hamburgers, but still, For Quiet, which is the character that I have enjoyed immensely, even without the naked factor, which I mean, it kind of meshes weird, when these things happen. Um, she was taken both her voice and everything surrounding it, but I still don't understand why she couldn't just write whatever. So there's a lot of these kind of characters, and children soldiers, of course. The thing that was taken away from them was their childhood, at least. It's their innocence, and wow, wow. Sometimes the scenes in these games, they leave a very deep impact. I think Kojima, when he was cooking Metal Gear Solid 5, he started to realize that sometimes less is more. And I hope he did, because from what I understand, Death Stranding is not exactly that. Um, and he does less of expository dialogue and more of a um, visual storytelling. And sometimes it is very good. Um, I love characters such as Quiet. Code Talker was cool, even though it was undercooked. I wish, I wish he was just given more screen time. And even though I enjoy hating on Hugh Emmerich, I think his arc was also undercooked. Um, Sometimes it kind of feels weird. Some of the conflict surrounding him in the game goes around the fact that he has some kind of authority, even though the game established that he has not. And it's weird. But overall, what a game. What a game. And this is the themes of the game micro-wise, let's say. Um, you're playing as a shadow of a legend that shaped an era that is unfolding. And right now, he has to take back the leading position in this era to fight back to fight back the whole world essentially. And it is a big kind of thing. But there is another theme of the game, and it is the second one, and it is also uh, Phantom Pain could be really a good description of it, and its incomplete nature. The thing is about the game, and pretty much everybody knows it. But if you don't, the game is incomplete. Uh, this game ended up being very much cut before the release, because the tensions between Kojima and Konami, the company that sells the game, they have been very very rough. So the separation was like a divorce. It was like nothing else. At the release of the game, it was highly promoted. It was one of the games of the year, easily, easily maybe the game of the year. I can't remember from top of my head the games of 2015, but I remember that it was a very good year for gaming. But slightly after, when Kojima left, the game just disappeared. Konami basically didn't do nothing about the IP until recently, when they made the lazy decision to remaster Metal Gear Solid 3 with the gameplay style of this Metal Gear Solid game, and it's not the same. From what I've seen, yeah, most of the scenes and dialogues they were made, just the same. But and it's tough not to understand the Konami. When Kojima says, "Let's make Hollywood actor voice over Snake from now on." And give me all the money and I'll give you a paradise. Um, of course, they would be skeptical. Some people say that Konami tried to draw the line on the sand and they made Kojima pissed and it's gotten rough. But I didn't get into it. I don't remember how drama unfolded back in the day because a lot of people talked about it. A lot of things were public, and especially right now, I don't care too much about it, even though it is an interesting subject on its own. Um, as an incomplete game, there is a lot of things that are cut. Gameplay wise, some things are cut, some areas are cut, but most importantly, the story was cut. There, if I understand correctly, there should have been even more chapters to the game. At the release, there is only two chapters. First, that's called Revenge, and second one, I don't even remember how it's called. Basically, the first chapter of the game is 80% of the game, and it is the important story. And the second part of the game is a multitude of smaller stories, which are important on their own right, and actually I have enjoyed them more. But they are somewhat disconnected. Some of the plot threads that are cut right in the middle, like children just steal Metal Gear, and the game just I don't think something about it. Don't worry about it, but it's so weird. And I think Kojima did it intentionally. He really wanted to show the world that if the company isn't playing ball with him, he is burning the bridges. And I think that the thing that had happened. The third chapter of the game should have been something like Kingdom of Flies. The children with the biological weapon and Metal Gear. There are unfinished cutscenes that you can look up on YouTube if you're interested. Uh, I think it would have been a great thing to explore, and the way that Kojima tackled it, uh, sometimes pretentiously, of course, but other times it gets very much in the field. It's a very big shame that this game is incomplete, and it is basically a gravestone to the series. There could be, and no matter how Konami tries, there could never be Metal Gear Solid without Kojima. He's a driving force behind it, and it is a sad end. The phantom pain that is felt both by players, by developers, and maybe by Kojima himself, because I think he misses his Metal Gear Solid days and setting and ideas. Because in Death Stranding 2, he flooded with many references to MGS. And we are back to the initial question of the video: is Kojima an artistic genius? I think he's definitely an artist first, and he's an experienced artist, and he is an artist who understands his vision, um, no matter how flawed it could be. But are there things that bring him to genius level? I think there are. Uh, and hear me out. In MGS V, it is not as pronounced, even though it is here. There are some hard hitting themes and scenes in these games. Um, a lot of drama in this game is real and cool. There is this moment when you have to basically kill your own subordinates as they salute you, saying something like, "We live and die by orders, boss." And, there is this log, their log when something happens, this sound like, um, your soldier has died, your soldier has died, your soldier has died. And even though it is so mechanical, because of the circumstances, it feels very real. And it's sick, dude. But Kojima as an artist could not only be judged by his only game. There are many other games, like in Metal Gear Solid 1. Everything that surrounds Psycho Mantis. It is a very creative idea. Or something like in. Oh, yeah, yeah, in Metal Gear Solid 1, you have to have a physical copy, the disc of the game to know the exact radio frequency of the person that you have to locate in one moment of the game. That is a very great understanding of what you're trying to do. And entirety of Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. Uh, 2 in a way that it is so meta, and there is a lot of heavy concepts which nowadays internet really likes, because he's not just predicted it, he just noticed it. And people being dumb, they didn't took these things seriously at the time, but right now information manipulation and gathering, um, it is a big thing in a digital age. So Metal Gear Solid 2 was great in that regard, and Metal Gear Solid 3, at first glance, is a simple homage to the old Bond movies and 60s and everything surrounding it, but it also has its own soul and his own charming gimmicks. So I think if Kojima is one of the first game developers that look up the game as an art form, not only do they remember that it is also a game which should be fun, but the way that you can subvert expectations by playing the game in a way that some people are not even attempting to. And shortly speaking, yes, Kojima, he's certainly a genius. He certainly has a talent. Someday, I think I will tackle Death Stranding 1 and maybe 2 if I would enjoy the first one. Even though I think Kojima at his worst, if he has a sin as an author, as an artist, it is his narcissism. Sometimes he gets too full of himself, and sometimes you kind of allow him to do so because he deserves it. Like. Okay, okay, but you're just, this scene is just you jerking yourself off how great you are. But you're great, so I'm letting you do that for 5 minutes or so. And I think in these Death Stranding games, that is one of the famous critiques that not only did he flood these games with Hollywood actors, but he also, he did exactly that. You know. So that is about it. What I will be playing next, I'm not sure. I have finally bought a Cuphead. I'm also late for the party for this one. But at least I have played Metal Gear Solid back in the day, and here I did not. Even though I have been waiting for Cuphead for years to release. I've seen the first teasers back in 2012, 2013, and I immediately fell in love. It is such a beautiful game, and people love it. And from what I have seen, this game is an amazing game. So I'm glad that I'm going into the territory of the joy and love, and the phantom pain, dude. The phantom pain, dude. The phantom pain is real. So yeah, I hope to see you again.